Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new around here, then welcome. Today we are going to be talking about a ton of brand new makeup at Sephora and Ulta. I thought I would take you guys with me to go shopping for a bunch of brand new products. I did order some things online as well as swatching and buying them in store, so it's a little combination of both. I'm going to show you guys all the footage of our little shopping spree, and then at the end we'll talk about all the things that I picked up and we'll put it on the face. First stop was Sephora. I wanted to swatch the new stuff in person because there was a lot I was unsure about, starting with the Fenty Hydra Visors. This Sephora didn't have as much, but when I went to the other location, they did have all of the shades, so I was able to kind of play around and swatch them. I did play around with these, and ultimately I felt like they would be too hydrating on my oily skin, but if you want a shade reference, I did match myself to the shade number 3 on the left. This Sephora actually had the Summer Fridays Iced Coffee Butter Balm in stock, and I swatched it next to the shade Vanilla Beige. This is a very strong coffee scent, which is nice, but I feel like it would eventually bother me, and overall I preferred the Vanilla Beige shade. I checked out more of the Sephora collection lipsticks I talked about in my duping undupable products video. These are so good if you haven't tried them out yet. They feel very high end. I swatched the shades Magnetic Wave, Pink Plasma, and Light Pulse Lacquer Shines, the ones in the darker tube, and I think I liked Light Pulse the most. So I really like the new Kosas baked blushes, so I swatched a few more that I'm debating on. I have Dreamland in the middle, and I've had my eye on Hype and Swoon. Swoon is on the left, and I didn't know this, but it looks like it has some sort of glitter in it. I'm still debating on these, but I feel like Hype would translate well on my skin tone. And surprisingly, this Sephora had the K18 dry shampoo in stock. I am so curious, but that $48 price tag is so steep. I saw the new Bare Minerals liquid bronzers and highlighting blushes. I love the bronzer powder colors, so I wanted to see how these compared. I swatched Kiss of Pink, Kiss of Rose, Peach Glow, and Opal Glow, and I think I liked Opal Glow and Kiss of Pink the most. They're the bottom shades here. I saw the Huda blush filters, and these smelled so good. They were slightly sweet and tropical, and I swatched them in order of how they were displayed, and I really liked Watermelon Pop. They didn't have Strawberry Cream though, and that was one of the shades that I thought I would possibly like the most. And also, here are those shades blended out a bit. And I know these aren't new, but my Sephora never has the Makeup Forever liners in stock, but they did today. These are the shades Limitless Brown and Endless Cacao. I wanted to compare these to my existing collection though, so I kept it on my hand and I compared them when I got home. These are those compared to the Makeup by Mario liners as well as the Wonder Skin eyeliners. None of them were exact matches, so I may go back for Limitless Brown. I was really excited to see the Ilia lip crayons. The ones that I was the most interested in were these 3 in Earthen, Banquet, and Genre. And guys, I finally spotted the Haus Labs cream blushes. I swatched Glassy Hibiscus, and like I suspected, very glossy and probably a little too hydrating for my oily skin. Also, I don't think this is new, but I'm super curious to try the Cali Ray Brightening Concealer in Golden Hour, but this is new, the Sundrip Serum Bronzer. I swatched it, and it's a thicker serum consistency, but it blended out really well. I got really lucky and found the Patrick Ta highlighting duos. I swatched all the shades in order here, and while they're all slightly different, I feel like most of them would probably translate similar on the skin, almost to the point where I wouldn't need multiple shades. They're all very, very sparkly though, and I'm really curious about the face balm, how that would kind of sit on the skin throughout the day. Here are all of those shades swatched in order as well. I saw the new NARS summer collection, and I swatched some of the shadow sticks in the shades Strip Down, Oblivion, and Don't Touch. They were really creamy, but none of the shades seemed like ones I'd wear enough to justify buying. I also swatched the light medium face palette too, and honestly, it was nothing special for me. The highlight was nice. They had the full Fenty summer collection collection, and I actually really liked all of the Blushlighter shades that they came out with. And out of the lip oils, I thought Frosted Buns was the prettiest. The Inky List came out with hydrocolloid pimple patches that have active ingredients in them, and those are my favorite kind. So I debated on these for a little while. And then I went over to the Josie Maran body butters, and Vanilla Vibes was my favorite, but the scrub version did not smell as good. I don't know why. These seem to have the same formulation as their old packaging also. I saw the brand Maine, and I've been curious about this. I like the idea of an interchangeable tool and you just purchase the top part of it. Then I headed to Ulta and I saw the new Natasha Denona Golden collection, and I've heard this collection isn't as good as the old gold collection, but the highlights swatched really nice. But I can't see myself using this highlight palette that much, so I passed on this. The e.l.f. Sun Boss glosses, these colors didn't really wow me, but I can't lie, I'm drawn to the fact that they have SPF in them, and what I was most intrigued by were the IT Cosmetics Sun Blushes. I swatched the shade Sun Warmth and I was like, this is really nice. I really liked the consistency. It was lightweight, and this reminded me a little bit of the Tower 28 cream blushes and bronzers, except it wasn't as balmy. I also swatched the shade Sun Blossom. I like how these dry down, and I'm really debating on purchasing one of these, and I think that I'm leaning towards the shade Sun Warmth here on the left. That was all the footage from our little shopping excursion, and now we're going to talk about all the products that I did pick up. I tried not to go too crazy here, but definitely still a pretty good haul. So let's get started with Ulta. So I don't know if I had any footage from this. I did pick this up a little while ago, but I still want to talk about it in this video. This is one of the brand new vacation sunscreens. It is the Shake Shake Mineral Sunscreen. This has an SPF of 50. I do have a reel coming up about this one. I ended up finding the majority of the brand new Fenty summer collection at Ulta before I headed into Sephora and found them there. So what I picked up from the collection, I did get one of the hot cheeks in the shade Juicy Peach. This is that shade right here. It's definitely a warm peach with a lot of gold flecks running through it. It just looks really beautiful, and I'm super excited to put this on the face. I picked up one of the lip oils. This is the Gloss Balm oil in the shade Frosted Buns. I was between this one and the darker shade, but I did go with Frosted Buns because I just feel like this is going to give me a little bit more versatility. If I wanted to kind of like deepen it up, I could do that with a lip liner. And lastly, I did pick up one of the eyeliners. This is the Glitty Lid Shimmer Liquid Eyeliner in the shade Boozy Bronze. And the last thing that I purchased at Ulta, I threw away the box already because I've used it a couple of times. This is the Dior Lip Oil in the shade Bronzed Glow. This is gonna go with the Bronzed Glow blush that I purchased a couple of weeks back. I love that blush so far, so I thought that I would pick up the matching oil. So that is everything from Ulta. Now we will talk about what I picked up at Sephora, and I was pretty good about it, to be honest. So something we are not going to be testing out in this video, I did pick up the Inky List Hydrocolloid Invisible Pimple Patches. As you guys know, when it comes to my pimple patches, I need something a little bit more than just hydrocolloid bandages. I need something that has those active ingredients to help with dark spots, to help heal the active breakout. So this one does have that salicylic acid, succinic acid, I'm never sure how to say that, and ectoin. So I'm hoping that this helps to diminish my pimple as well as diminish any dark spots that gets left over, because I am very prone to hyperpigmentation and acne scarring. I did pick up that Patrick Ta highlighting duo. This is the cream and powder light reflecting duo in the shade Daddy. This was the one that I was most interested in, so I was super excited that they had this shade in stock in the store that I went to. So here is what that looks like. I'm so excited about this. I feel like it's not too gold, but it's also not too nude to where it would look a little bit out of place on my face. So we're going to play around with this one. I kept going back and forth to the Ilia Lip Sketch Hydrating Crayons, and I picked up one of them. The winner at the end of the day was the shade Banquet. It is the lightest of the bunch that I was thinking about getting, and I think it would be the one that I would most likely wear on an everyday basis without feeling like it's going to be too dark for me to wear on a day-to-day basis. Like, here is this pencil compared to your average sized like lip pencil eyeliner. In pictures, I was kind of like, okay, they're just lip liners, but they're kind of like these chubby sticks. They're a wooden chubby stick, and it's so cute to me. I don't know. Not necessarily something I purchased, but I did get it with a 100-point perk. This is one of the Armani Beauty Eye Tint Chromes in the shade 44 Rose Gold. I actually swatched it on the back of my hand earlier. So this is this little shade right here. So that is everything that we picked up. Now, without further ado, let's go into a little demo and first impressions of these products. And we're also going to be including a lot of products that I received in PR as well. So we'll be talking about those as well. So I popped on one of my little headbands. This one is from Verse. I don't know if you can purchase this currently on their website, but I just needed something to pull my hair back. Today, I want to prime my face with sunscreen. Sometimes I'll do this and just completely skip a primer. And since we have a sunscreen that I want to try out, that's what we're going to do. But we also have this one from Paula's Choice. I received this one as well as two other of their sunscreens a couple of weeks ago, and I have been testing all of them out, and so far, guys, I'm really impressed. All three of them really are reminiscent of Asian sunscreens in my opinion when it comes to the formulation. They're very lightweight, they're super moisturizing, they don't leave a white cast, and they feel more like a moisturizer versus our Western sunscreens here. So it's supposed to soothe and gently protect the skin. If you're curious, these are the other two that they have. I believe this blue one was already something that they had in their line, and then this orange one is new. This is the vitamin C one. They all have SPF 50. This is the Youth Extending Daily Hydrating Fluid, and this is going to be the runniest of the bunch, which if you guys know me, you know I love a runny moisturizing sunscreen. And this one does have a 5% vitamin C concentration in it. Because this is supposed to be a new one and it's a mineral sunscreen, just to match this side, I'm gonna do one on one side, one on the other. We're gonna just shake up both of these, and I'm gonna take the Paula's Choice one just a little bit. I already have some sunscreen on, so we are just reapplying sunscreen here. And when it comes to a mineral sunscreen, it's harder to get rid of that white cast when it comes to formulating them. But as you can see, with rubbing this into the skin, it almost immediately disappears. You can see a slight hint of a white cast here, but I've noticed that once I let it absorb into the skin, it goes away. And if I wear makeup on top of it, you don't see the white cast at all. I haven't used this flash test wise with makeup. I think I should try that out today. It feels just like a moisturizer, guys. And then going in on this side with the Vacation, I do have a little short form video coming soon about this sunscreen, so check that out if you want more of a thorough first impression review type of thing with this. Comparatively to the Paula's Choice one, this does take a little bit more effort to blend into the skin to get rid of that white cast. As far as mineral sunscreens go, this one actually performs very well. This one does have a scent, by the way, while the Paula's Choice one doesn't, but this scent is kind of nice. I don't even know what it is. I want to say that it's a little bit coconutty, a little bit more of a tropical scent, but it doesn't linger. We are SPF'd up, guys. I'm gonna let both of those sunscreens dry, and while I do that, I'm just gonna do my brows really quickly. All right, brows are done, so now we're gonna move on to the foundation. And for foundation, I did pick up the brand new e.l.f. Soft Glam foundation. I heard some rumblings about this one, so I did pick this up on their website. This is not going to be a first impression. I did wear this the other day. It was my very first time wearing it, so I'm going to insert a wear test / vlog type of thing here so you can see how this wore on the very first day that I put it on. Hey guys, so this is the first time that I'm wearing this brand new e.l.f. Satin foundation, and it's also the first time I am vlogging with this camera, which I'm really excited about. We are going to a baby sprinkle today for my friend, and it's actually a couple hours out of town, so we're gonna head out there. We're probably gonna grab dinner, and then we're also planning on stopping by a couple Ultas, a couple Sephoras, just so I can see what's going on over there. Then we're gonna head home. So it's going to be an entire day of being out of town. So I thought it would be a really good time to do a wear test, and the weather is actually supposed to be in the low 90s today. which is insanely hot, and it's of course humid because Florida. But the foundation right now is looking really good, and it's actually more matte than I anticipated, but I think that's probably for the best. I still powdered it down and everything so that it'll last throughout the day, but I'm gonna take you guys with me today and we'll see how this does. Say hi. Okay, we're at dinner now. It's 7:46. I don't know how long I've had this on, but it's looking pretty good. It's a little bit cakey, I want to say, like in this area, right around my nose. But everywhere else it's looking pretty good, and my oils are like doing well. Yeah, you can kind of see it's a little bit cakey right here. But the oils are doing good. We're having a quick dinner before we head back home. Okay guys, we're done. We ate so much. How was it?
Good.
I liked this location. We've been to one other one, and this one's nice because we're in like a shopping area, and I got to go to Sephora and Ulta and swatch a bunch of stuff for you guys. We're gonna head home now. It's 8:40. How's the foundation looking? Am I looking really oily?
Not really oily. I've seen you oilier.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's actually holding up pretty well. You can see there's some oils right here, some oils on the forehead, but it's not crazy. Hey guys, we're back home. It is midnight, so I've officially had this face of makeup on for 12 hours now. It's looking okay. So like I said, I'm not super oily, which is impressive. I kind of feel like it's a little bit dry on my skin. I don't know if it's the combination of the foundation and the powder and stuff that I use, because I definitely powdered a lot today knowing that I was gonna have this face of makeup on all day, you know? So I'm going to test this out again tomorrow, probably use a different powder just to be safe and use less. And I just want to note that I do have a couple of like blemishes here. You see that? I'm pretty sure that those have been forming the last couple of days, so I don't think that it just popped up from this foundation, you know? Like, I'm pretty sure I saw it yesterday. I am so ready to take this face of makeup off, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna hop into my pajamas, get into bed, and rest because I'm pretty tired. I'm gonna give you guys a little close-up of everything. It's always risky trying out a new foundation or like new makeup on your face in general when you have somewhere to be or you have a long day filled with a bunch of events. So I'm very pleased that this, for the most part, worked out for me. All right, so as you can see, it was pretty good. I wasn't blown away though by the end of the day, and I think maybe I need to just continue to play around with this one. So I did purchase this in the shade 32 Medium Neutral. We're gonna take this on the back of the hand, not too much. I want to just use a little bit and then like build it up from there. I'm just gonna be using this It Cosmetics Dual Complexion brush. Elf does have one like this, but I just had this on hand, so I'm going to get this all over my brush, and then we are just gonna go in, and usually I will color correct, but because we're trying a bunch of new products today, I just want to see how they perform, like how this foundation performs on its own, you know? Starting on the outer perimeter of my face, and then I'm gonna kind of work it in, because knowing that this foundation can look slightly more textured and a little bit more cakey, I guess, in some areas, I want to make sure that I go in with a very minimal amount of product. So this color is slightly warm for me, but honestly, I think it's going to be the best match. And I'm not really sure if this oxidizes either. I don't really know. I'm not very good at telling when things oxidize, because by the time they do, if they do, I have already put like concealer and bronzer and stuff on the face to kind of neutralize it. So I will try to give this a little bit more time to see. And then once I feel like I have that thoroughly blended in, I'm just going to take a wet beauty blender and just pounce this all over the face to get rid of any excess product and sort of blend it in a little bit more. All right, here is what the foundation looks like on my skin. Like I said, I did go in with a very light layer of this. I would say that this is a little less than like a full-on layer. Even with that like small amount of product here all over my face, I feel like I got pretty good coverage. I definitely still do see a lot of my acne scarring, but these are pretty intense acne scars, like pretty dark hyperpigmentation. I don't necessarily expect something that is more medium coverage to cover that without the help of a color corrector and a concealer. I do think that as the foundation sits on the skin by itself, it does have a really nice satin-like glow, but once I finish my entire face of makeup and I powder it down, that glow does subside quite a bit, so I'm almost inclined to say that this is more of a satin matte on me once I finish with it. I think what I want to do is add just a smidge more, and I'm going to take it where I feel like I could cover a little bit more of my acne scarring, you know? What do you guys think? I feel like maybe it like slightly oxidizes, but I can barely tell, to be honest with you. It might just be because this shade is slightly darker to begin with on myself. I wouldn't feel comfortable continuing to build onto this to make it full coverage. I just feel like it wouldn't sit very well on the skin, but so far I think it looks great. So now I'm just gonna do my concealer, any bronzer that I need, and then we're gonna move on to the cheek products. All right, I just finished my concealer and my eyes. I did end up using that Armani shadow, and actually it's really nice, very subtle. I thought it would be nice to use paired with this liner because I felt like it would pop a little more versus just being on my plain lids. It does have a brush tip, and typically with these brush tip liners, I've noticed if it's not like a black liner, if it's colored like this, they can sort of be a little bit thicker, a little bit more goopy, for lack of a better term. Like it can get to that a little faster, as you can see right here. Really great pigmentation, but definitely feels like one of those eyeliner formulas where once it dries down, you can kind of feel it on the eyes. You know what I mean? Like it sort of feels like you have a little tightness, a little film of color there. That can kind of drive me a little crazy. These brushes tend to deposit a lot of product onto the eyes, so I think that kind of messes with how thick it feels on the eyelid. I'm actually going to be using this Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrow brush. It's like a double-ended one, but it does have this angled point right here, and I want to use that to create just a small little wing here. So I'm going to take this eyeliner on my angled brush, and then I'm just going to paint it onto the eyes. Now I will say, if you do this technique, you do tend to lose a little bit of that shimmer and that boldness, so you will still have to layer it, but I still think that even doing it on a separate brush versus this brush tip applicator, it does make the slightest difference. Like I'm gonna go in here to apply it, and then I'm going to take my brush to just blend it and shape it, and that'll like thin it out, you know? I also feel like with these brush tips, it can kind of get messy if you get it on your eyelashes. It's definitely not as bold and like metallic on the eyes as it is on the back of the hand. Now, of course, that probably has to do with the fact that we applied it a little bit differently. I much prefer a pen eyeliner, something that has like a well, you know, in the pen. I just feel like for some reason, those formulas tend to be a little bit more liquidy and they dry down completely without feeling like, you know, you could take it and just like peel it off. It kind of just looks like a brown liner, to be honest. Maybe we should build it up just for the sake of seeing what this can look like on the eyes. Okay, you can kind of see a little more of that metallic shine on there. So I was just curling my lashes, and I guess some of the lash curler touched the eyeliner and it like flaked off. You can see that right there, and it's on my lash curler. Oh, it sucks. Yeah, not loving that. All right, so now I actually want to use these new Hard Candy liquid blushes. These are the Face Blush Offs, the blurring blushes. I have the shades Hot Shot, Double Take, and Girl Crush. These upon first swatch kind of look like they would be a little bit more on the sheer side, so let's play around with them, see kind of what we can get. I think I'm gonna go ahead and go in with Hot Shot. So like I normally do with my liquid blushes, I'm gonna take this again on the back of my hand just so I can control that pigmentation a little bit better. And we're taking this BK and Nikki LaRose N17 brush. I'm just gonna pounce that all in there. That's actually really pretty. It dries down super fast. You can tell it's a very thin liquid, so you're gonna wanna make sure to work quickly with this. I find the thinner the liquid blush is, the faster it dries down versus if it's creamy, if it's moussey, you know, those give you a little bit more time to play, whereas something like this is going to be quick. I like the way that this is translating on the skin though. Like it's definitely more wearable on the face versus how it initially looks on that doe foot for me. I do feel like it sort of lifted a little bit of my concealer right there. Like you can see my hyperpigmentation and freckling a little bit on my cheeks. Can you guys tell? Like I think it moved it a little bit, which is odd because like I said, we went in with a very small amount of product, so it didn't take much for that to move around. Should we go in with a little dot on the face? Doot. I think that was too much. I think that was too much. Oh no, that's good. The color is very nice and sheer. I think I would call this buildable, but again, you got to be kind of careful with what you layer it with because I definitely think that it's taken off a good amount of coverage that I had going on there. You could do that little trick where you combine your concealer and the blush together so you get that coverage but also the color at the same time. All right, face is powdered down. I did add a little bit of the Say Dew Bronze in the shade Swim just to warm up the cheeks as well. And honestly, I feel like it like kind of got rid of that blush. Maybe if I had done the Dew Bronze and then put that blush on top to give it a little bit of a darker like base to go on top of, we wouldn't have like lost so much, but I'm just gonna kind of leave it as it is. I don't really want to mess with that coverage. Next, we're gonna go in with that Fenty Blushlighter. And I'm actually going to take that same Nikki and BK brush, but I'm going to use this side, the black bristles right here. We are just gonna go straight in, maybe do a couple taps off, and then I'm just going to pat this on top of the cheeks. Okay, so I actually really like the ratio of pigmentation and like glitter metallic sheen that this has. It's not too shimmery with not enough pigment, and vice versa. There's just enough pigment, there's just enough shine to where it's balanced enough on my skin tone. I was a little worried because I have seen some people apply this and they just felt like they were seeing gold glitter on their face. But for me, I feel like I'm getting a good mixture of the two. Now, I don't know what this looks like in daylight just yet. It may look completely different once we get out of these studio lights. This is about where I would leave my blush typically. I feel like you guys saw, I've been building this up and I think it looks pretty good. I wish this was permanent packaging because it's like so eye-catching and gorgeous. Now let's play around with the Patrick Ta highlight. I wanted to do it the way that Patrick Ta typically does his signature look where he does the powder and then the cream on top. So a little swatch of the powder. It's so pretty. It almost looks like a duochrome, doesn't it? This is super balmy. It's a very thin balm-like texture. It's almost like a face gloss if you've ever used anything similar to that. This looks like it has flecks of yellow and pink to it, but this glossy balm, it does have a little bit of a pink glimmer to it, but nothing too crazy. Like it's definitely more toned down than the powder. I actually have this Patrick Ta Contour 3 brush and I'm going to use this fluffy side right here to apply that powder. It's quite dusty. I'm going to put it right on top. I know this is already a blush lighter, but for the sake of this video, I want to use as many products as possible. Ooh, I feel like he gave that blush a lot of dimension. Maybe put some on the brow bone. That's strong highlight, like very strong pigmentation there. Ooh, I think I put a little bit too much right here, but you can really see that shining. Let's do some on the inner corner. Oh, I should have just used this as my eyeshadow, huh? Okay, but this color is really nice. I think that the yellow sort of greenish glimmer in it is pretty flattering on my skin tone. I don't know what I'm seeing right now. I don't know if I'm seeing this or if I'm seeing the Fenty one. From what I can tell, this is actually really beautiful. It's definitely very much glittery. So if you don't like a glitter highlight, I would probably stay away from this. I do want to try the gloss. We're just going to go in with a very small amount to begin with and tap this onto the skin. Alright, so my camera actually ran out of space when I did the gloss, like the balm thing, on this side of my face. So let's go ahead and do it on this side. I'm just going to use a tiny little bit on my finger here, and we're just going to add that right on top of where we put that highlight. And I'm really trying to push this in so that it spreads out evenly and we don't have like a glob of balm on the skin, you know? This side I put on a couple minutes ago because I had to put all of my footage onto my computer real quick. And it still feels a little bit tacky, but I thinned it out enough to where I feel like it had a chance to dry down a little. I am seeing a little bit of texture here. It could just be the nature of, you know, highlight in general. I don't necessarily think that the balm has accentuated anything majorly to where I'm like really turned off by it. I'm wondering what the longevity of this would be on the skin, especially if you have oily skin like I do, you know? No complaints so far. Am I blown away though? Not really, not yet. We will see how this does. All right, and I think we're good to go ahead and lock in the base. This is what the complexion is looking like. I'm going to be using this Urban Decay All-Nighter Hyaluronic Acid and Watermelon Fruit Extract. This they recently sent me and it smells like watermelon candy. It smells so good. And this is supposed to be more of a dewy setting spray. So if you do tend to have drier skin, maybe you need a little extra like refresh throughout the day. It helps when I really powder my face, and then I spray this on and it kind of like melts in all that powder, makes it look a little bit more natural. And sometimes I will layer it with my one size if I really want this face of makeup to last all day. Lastly, I just have a ton of lip products for you guys. So like I mentioned, I do have the Fenty Lip Oil, the Dior Lip Oil. The Dior Lip Oil is their traditional lip oil formulation. Nothing new here. I am a fan of the Dior lip oil formula. I think that it's really nice. It has a good thickness to it. And I would say that for me, it's a standard lip oil, like a true lip oil. If anything, it does have a little bit of a hybrid gloss to it, you know? And I'm just putting this straight onto the lips without any lip liner. I just love how smooth this feels on the lips. It's very slick. It has a little bit of a thickness to it, a little bit of a tackiness to it, but for me, I feel like that kind of like holds this onto the lips a little bit longer. It also has that nice mintiness to it. Now I have mahogany here and then bronze glow. I want to show you guys kind of a comparison between the two. This is bronze glow, this is mahogany. So here is bronze glow, here is mahogany. As you can see, mahogany does pull quite a bit more red, while bronze glow is kind of this nudie peach color. And on me, I feel like it's definitely very different. I was a little worried that they were going to be too similar. Now they are very similar compared to each other versus like the rest of the line. So if you're happy with one, you may not need the other one. Sometimes I feel like mahogany is a little bit dark for what I want on an everyday basis. So that's just me. I want to talk briefly about the Eadem Le ChouChou Lip Peptide Lip Balms. These are beautiful. They feel so nice. I would say they have a medium thickness to them. They're not too much on the lips. I would say that compared to like the Naturium lip balm and what's another popular one, like the Summer Fridays one, it's right in the middle when it comes to thickness. I love the tint to these. I think all of the shades that they came out with are very different from each other, and I think the standout about this product is going to be that metal applicator. I have talked about it, how I wish that Naturium had kept their metal applicators because I loved it that much, and these are going to be the first metal applicator lip balms that I've used since then, and they just feel so nice and cooling on the lips without having to add anything to the actual formulation. I didn't really squeeze anything out. I just used what was already on the applicator. The applicator alone, I would purchase this, but I'm glad that this is such a nice formulation. It has peptides as well as HAs in it, so it's supposed to simultaneously hydrate and exfoliate your lips at the same time. Let's go ahead And look at these It Cosmetics serums. These are Confidence in a Serum glosses. I did do arm swatches of these so I could see what they look like. They do have a sweet candy-like scent to them. I'm using this nudie pink shade called Self-Worth. I do like the doe foot. It's kind of like this flat angled doe foot, so it gives you a lot of area to work with. It's nice and slippery. It's thinner than the Dior lip oil, and there's no stick to it. And I just want to show you guys what that doe foot applicator looks like here. I think that this looks so nice. It really fills in those lip lines as well. Like nothing looks accentuated, nothing is like sinking into them. Let's try the shade Self-Determined. Oh, that's actually really beautiful. I like how it shears out. It's like this pinky berry. These have really good pigmentation. Yeah, that's really comfortable. It doesn't leave a weird feeling on the lips, like no weird filminess to it, you know. I keep calling it a lip oil, but it's a serum gloss. If I didn't know what this was called, I would assume it's some sort of lip oil because it does have that same slickness to it. It's really comfortable. I also picked up one of the e.l.f. Sunboss glosses in the shade That's My Jam. I felt like the other shades, I wasn't sure if they would look good on me. For some reason, I felt like the promo photos that they had swatched on the lips, I couldn't really tell a difference with them. Like I felt like the lighting on them was terrible. Like I don't know why the photos were so dark, but it was really difficult for me to pick a shade. But this is what I went for just because I saw someone do a TikTok and it looked like you can kind of shear these out. I can't tell if these have a scent because I used a makeup wipe on my lip and it's a scented makeup wipe. I don't think there's a scent. It has very high pigmentation. It's a little bit sticky. Like it's kind of hard to spread on the lips. Not similar to like the e.l.f. lip glosses, like the plumping lip glosses, you know, those I feel like are really easy to spread. This feels kind of sticky. That's way more pigment than I wanted. This is giving me more liquid lipstick vibes, more of a glossy liquid lipstick because of how much pigmentation we're getting off of this. My big thing with SPF lip products is that they always taste really terrible, but this one, I'm not noticing it seeping into my lips. I think because it is more of that thick lip gloss feeling. It doesn't have a weird SPF taste, which is really impressive. This color is a little intense for my taste. I was thinking this one or the pink shade, whatever the mid pink shade is, maybe I'll try that one out. Let me see if I can kind of shear this out and get it to where it's not as intense, you know? But then are you getting the proper amount of SPF? I don't know. For me, I'm a little skeptical when it comes to SPF products because in order to get the actual labeled SPF amount, you do have to use the correct amount on. So you may not get the full SPF 25, but I guess it's better than nothing. And also, isn't SPF 30 supposed to be where it's effective? Like that's the amount you're supposed to wear? I don't know. Okay, I like this better. It's nice. It's a little bit thicker than I like though. Okay, this is what I'm most excited for. The Ilia lip crayon. Again, I have this in the shade Banquet. Beautiful. It's like this mid-tone beigey pink shade. So let me go ahead and apply this on the lips. I want to do this all over the lips as my lip color. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, this is slightly darker and more pink than my natural lip color, which is exactly what I wanted. I just wanted something to slightly like accentuate my natural lips. It's definitely creamy, creamier than your average lip liner, but it does still have a little bit of tug to it, which might be nice if you're looking for longevity. I think this will last really well on the lips. Ooh, yeah, I like this color. This is perfect. So I wanted something that, you know, would feel like something I could wear on a day-to-day basis. I could wear alone or top it with a gloss, you know, something that was going to be very versatile, and I feel like we nailed it with this color. I'm very happy with this one. Let's go ahead and top it with the Fenty Lip Oil to just see what this looks like. Again, this is in the shade Frosted Buns. This also has a very flat, almost duck-billed like doe foot, except it's kind of curving inwards at the very top ever so slightly, so I think it's meant to hug your lips a little bit more. Ooh, that's shiny. Don't be afraid to utilize the back of the doe foots as well, guys. It has a slight vanilla scent to it, which smells really good. All right, here is that combination. That's really pretty. It's slightly lip gloss feeling, but oh, do you see that? it's kind of stringing a little bit. Let me do the finger thing. So it is a little bit of a thicker oil here, but it feels nice and slick, and it definitely has glitter in it, as you can see. I think in the sunlight this would like really shimmer and stuff. It's pretty. I like it. I think it looks really nice with this combination. I did try this on by itself on my lips, and personally I feel like my lips are not pigmented enough to where this looks that great on me. So this is definitely something that I think that I would wear on top of a lip liner or lip color in general. Okay, I just clipped my hair back, but this is the finished makeup look. What do you guys think of this? I have some thoughts. Let's go over some really quick thoughts. So the foundation, unfortunately, I feel like this is not like something that is blowing my mind. I think it gives good coverage. I think that the finish is really nice. I love a satin glow to it, but I kind of feel like I want slightly more coverage, and it doesn't necessarily stay in place when I'm putting other things on my face like the blush and my bronzer and stuff like that. Like I was seeing a lot of the foundation kind of like moving around. I do think it slightly oxidizes, but really not by much. I think that you can kind of stick to whatever shade you think is going to be your match. I'm gonna play around a little bit more with this, but again, it's not proving to be like a favorite for me. Same thing kind of goes with the Hard Candy liquid blushes. I think I'm going to have to play with this on a different base maybe and see how it does. I love the amount of sheerness that this gives off. Upon first like look of these colors, you would think that these are so unwearable and just bright and a little bit too much, but once you actually blend it with a brush and get it on the face, it gives you a beautiful, almost natural wash of color. So that's very impressive to me, and if I can get this to work on a different like foundation or complexion in general, I think that this would be such a beautiful, easy, no fuss type of liquid blush, especially because it seems to be the kind that dries down completely, and those tend to stay a lot longer on the skin than something that's a little more creamy. I really like this Fenty Beauty Blushlighter. I think that this color actually works really well for my skin tone. I love the packaging. It is just so breathtaking to me. I don't think that I need the other two shades, if I'm being honest. I think that this one would be such a beautiful standalone blush, and also something that I can use on top of like a matte blush and just something to intensify it with. I think that the gold works really nicely to warm up my skin tone. And as far as the Fenty Lip Oil, because this doesn't seem like the type of color that would work on its own, I think maybe the more brown shade would work a little bit better for me. But even then, I'm not a huge fan of something that has chunky glitters in it on my lips. I think it's beautiful whenever I swatch it, but is it something that I'm just naturally going to gravitate towards on an everyday basis? No, not really. So for me, I think that I could stick with their lip glosses over the lip oils. This lip oil from Dior, however, I'm really happy with. I think these two shades are really all I need. I like that it's a little bit more of a neutral tone, something that I would feel comfortable wearing all the time. The It Cosmetics Confidence in a Serum Gloss, I'm pleasantly surprised by these. I really like the way that this feels. I like the slickness to them, but also like how they have slightly more of a hydrating aspect to them. I can't say for certain if they're actually hydrating and how long they wear on the lips, so I will let you guys know down below if you're interested in seeing an update on the way that these wear. But I like the sheerness to them. I don't think that they're too much, and I think it's something that you can easily throw onto the lips by themselves, or you can use to top a lip color. I'm very happy with this Ilia lip crayon. I love this color. I like how it's just a little step up from my natural lip color. It's really flattering, I think, and I love the formulation of it. I think I could probably pass on the Fenty liner from the summer collection. I'm just not a huge fan, again, of this brush tip where it has the well and you dip into it. I wasn't crazy about that little mishap where it flaked off, you know, and while the color is gorgeous, I just feel like you would have to go in with too thick of a layer to where it's comfortable on the eyes. Like you'll definitely feel a little bit of that filminess to it. So unfortunately, this one would be a pass for me. I like this again to kind of melt my makeup in. I'm not entirely sure how it does with longevity of makeup just yet. And lastly, the Patrick Ta highlight. I think that this is good, but I really need to try it on its own and like see how it does. So far, it's sitting on my skin pretty well. I'm not seeing any crazy separation, which is what I was worried about. I'm always slightly more hesitant about putting a creamy, balmy type of thing on top of a powder because sometimes it can like separate that powder, make your texture look kind of funny, you know? But so far, I'm not seeing that. It definitely looks very glowy and like wet in that area, but I want to use this by itself with no blush, or at least a matte blush, to see how this actually shines on its own. Maybe I'll use a little as like a lid gloss, but I can't imagine it fully drying down because while it's not as tacky as when I first put it on the face, if you touch that area, it definitely still has a slight tackiness to it. I can't imagine that this is going to last on the face like during an 8-hour day, you know? Like maybe if you're going out and you want something that gives you that wet effect for a couple hours, this would be a good option for you. Alrighty guys, that was everything for this video. I hope that you liked it. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to let me know by leaving a comment down below and liking this video so I know if you want to see more things like this. As always guys, I will be adding all the links in the description box down below, as well as in this YouTube shopping tab for you guys to easily access these products. If you decide to shop through any of these links, I do earn a commission and I really appreciate y'all's support because it allows me to continue to do this. However, you have no obligation to shop through the links. I just appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!